All right, this is the equation for an exponential equation. Remember, this is your A, your initial amount. B, your B represents your growth rate or decay multiplier. Remember, you always want to convert that to a decimal. If it's a growth, you're going to say 1 plus R, and that R is your increase. And then if it's a decay, it's going to decrease over time. That's 1 minus R. Then your X is your time that has gone by. And then when you're done solving the equation, the Y will be your final amount after the time has gone by. All right, so what we want to do is we want to find the growth or decay rate multiplier using this equation. So let's talk about 3%. 3% growth. So what we do is we're going to take 1 plus 3%. Well, 3% as a decimal is 0.03. So you always move that decimal 2 places to the left. So 1 plus 0.03 is 1.03. This is what we call our growth rate multiplier. That's what's going to go in to B later on. Now the next one. The next one is the decay. So we're decreasing over time. So it's 1 minus 7.8%. All right, so again, we have to move that to decimal 2 places to the left. So it's 1 minus 0.078. Then we can go ahead and identify our decay rate multiplier. So we take 1 minus 0.078, and we get 0.922. Again, that would go in for our B. And then the last one is another growth rate multiplier. So it's 1 plus 0.041.41. Let me just erase that. Percent. So we're going to move it 2 places to the left, so it's getting to be even a smaller number. All right, so when we add that together, we get 1.00041. And that is your growth rate multiplier. Now let's make a little discussion here for a minute. When you have a growth rate, your B value is always going to be greater than 1. If you have a decay rate, it's going to be a fraction. Your B is going to be somewhere between a little bit greater than 0, but less than 1. So that's what you'll get out. All right. Tell whether each of these functions represent a growth or decay. So we just wrote this down on our notes. If you haven't already, go ahead and write that down now. So here are 3 examples. Example A, we gave you a function. We're not going to take the time to graph it, but we want to figure out if this is a growth or decay. So we're going to look at that number right there. That's our B. Now let's go to our box up here in the red. Our B is greater than 1. So this tells us we have a growth rate. So it's increasing over time because our B is greater than 1. Now let's head to the second example. Here is our B, and our B equals 0.25. So if we head up here, our B is a fraction. It's a number between a little greater than 0 and less than 1. So B is, in this scenario, so we have a decay rate. So as time goes on, our numbers are going to get smaller. All right, one left. Here is our B. Our B is 5.6. So we head up here. 5.6 is greater than 1. B is greater than 1, so we are having a growth over time, growth rate.